Discussion. Hearing none, Ms. Duncan, could you call the roll?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, aye. Yes.
Yes.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
We're going to move on to additions and deletions to the agenda. And I do have additions to the agenda. Colleagues, what I would like to do is I would like to move our public comments up. They would come after limited public comment regarding agenda items. I would also like to move closed session to come after new business. Is there any objection to that? Hearing none? Thank you. Moving on now to limited public comment regarding agenda items. Anyone signed up? If nothing,
Not
Not
limited
limited.
public comment.
anyone, Patrick, for limited?
Can you double check the list up there, Patrick? For public.
So we're gonna move on again. I moved public comment up under limited public comment. And I need to preempt this conversation. We understand that employees have signed up for public comment regarding the Western Michigan Health Insurance Pool known as WMHIP premium increases for 2026, which are not set by Lansing Community College. The board welcomes public comment on this matter, but there are two important points that needs to be communicated. The first point is because this item is not on the agenda, public comment was moved up so that this topic that normally would take place at the end of the meeting, we moved it up for general public comment so that attendees would not have to wait until the end. Second is that healthcare is a mandatory topic of bargaining for all unionized employees at LCC. So truly the appropriate place to raise this issue is through union representation during collective bargaining negotiations. As a background, Public Act 152 and the quote-unquote hard cap are currently subject to litigations between the Michigan Senate and the House. Further, and just in case union members were not aware, each collective bargaining unit at LCC appoints 2 representatives to the Healthcare Task Force, which has been discussing flexible plan options with Human Resources for several months, resulting in a new catastrophic plan option requiring zero investment from the employee. The board is definitely willing to listen to the comments that will be made this evening. I would just ask, please, ma'am, and please, sir, as this is a passionate topic and we do understand that. But if you would abide by the 3-minute rule of your comments, that would be greatly appreciated. So at this time, we open it up for public comment. Ms. Duncan, is there anyone that signed up here or virtually?
Eva Menifee was first, and then after her is Melinda Hernandez.
Okay. Those individuals in here this evening? Patrick? Okay. Oh, there you are back there. Great. Okay. All right. Would you, is it Melanie? Melinda? Melinda, if you are here, you may come up to the to the podium here?
Although I feel woefully unworthy of the past, I didn't come here to talk about insurance. I came to express my deep gratitude for the opportunity I've had to learn from Eva Menifee. I would like to honor her, but I don't know how to do so, as she does not value the trivial, nor does she seek praise, recognition, or awards. During my time at LCC, I've had many mentors, often coinciding with each administration, but that's not Eva's style. Because she does not define others, I lean in to listen. Because she does not position herself above others, I study her achievements. Because she leads by example, she is a trusted guide, friend, and colleague. Without asking, I would walk into battle with her, and I'm one of many. If we were to take account her contributions to the betterment of students, colleagues, and Michigan Native American community are stunning. She is the model of leadership, service, and friendship. While retiring from LCC, she will no doubt continue to educate all those who care to lead in. Watch and listen because she walks the talk. She's the real deal. Her courage, tenacity, conviction, and wisdom are irreplaceable. Eva Menifee is a warrior. When I interviewed at LCC many decades ago, Dr. Nivenberg, the former Dean of Arts and Sciences, asked what was my most important value. I don't know why, but without skipping a beat, I said courage, and have been perplexed by that response ever since. Why should it take courage to teach? As an Army brat, if this were the military, I would know how to honor Eva in her service to students, faculty, community. She would have been honored with the Bronze Star for demanding academic excellence and access for all students. We would have awarded her the Silver Star for gallantry in her pursuit of justice and equity in the face of inertia and self-interest. And she would deserve the Medal of Honor, the highest recognition of valor, for quiet acts of courage, listening while others talk, acting while others supervise, and checking in on all those forgotten in the name of prestige. This is not the military, and even if it were, Eva would likely decline such symbols. But her legacy raises an important question for us in higher education. How do we honor warriors like Eva Menifee? Why is courage one of the most important virtues of higher education? My greatest fear is not living up to the courage of my own convictions. I once attended a lecture at a prestigious university overlooking Lake Michigan. Afterwards, I overheard two senior philosophers discussing a young scholar's presentation. One said, the problem with her is that she lacks the courage of her conviction. A chill ran down my spine. Eva Menifee does not lack the courage. She embodies it, and I'm grateful for her example.
Now, I see that other persons have come in, so before we move on, if there is someone who would like, we're at public comment, because again, public comment will not come at the end. Public comment is right now. So if there's someone in the audience who would like to sign up for public comment, I will allow that so that you have an opportunity to speak and your voice is heard. But after I move forward, there will be no public comment at the end. Okay. Would you mind coming up to Ms. Duncan, give her your name and the information, and then you can move forward. Over here? Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone, for your patience. Truly appreciate it. Okay, so now,
Hmm?
would you please state your name?
Yeah, of course. Dustin Abrego.
Okay,
Um, I did. All right. Good evening, members of the board. My name is Dustin Abrego, and I'm the academic advisor for military connected students here at Lansing Community College. First, I want to recognize the incredible progress our college community has made. Spring 26 enrollment currently is on track to surpass pre-COVID spring numbers, which is really exciting. A real testament to the work of faculty, staff, and leadership, and a commitment to our student recruitment and retention. It's something we should all be proud of. At the same time, I want to share how the rising health insurance costs are affecting employees like me. Last year, I made the difficult decision to lower my healthcare plan by 2 levels just to make the premiums manageable. Even with that change, the increases seem to continue to outpace the modest cost of living adjustments that were negotiated. On a personal note, I recently got engaged. I used to tell my now fiance that one of the great things about working at LCC was the excellent and affordable healthcare insurance that she would marry into, something I was genuinely proud of. But that's becoming harder to say with confidence. I share this to emphasize that how the rising costs impact real people who are deeply committed to this institution. I know the college and healthcare task force are working hard to find solutions, and I'm very grateful for that. I simply ask as negotiations move forward, employee sustainability and security remain at the forefront. By working together creatively and compassionately, we can make sure LCC continues to be a place where both students and employees can thrive. Thank you for your time and ongoing partnership. Thank you.
the Menifee has stepped in. You did sign up to speak, so we are at public comment right now.
I was not expecting to be through. Man, I mean, I thought, whatever. Good evening. My name is Eva Menifee. Oh yeah, you probably know that already. Tonight, I'm not here to talk to you as the Mahi president. I gave that duty up to Bill Felposh. Tonight, I'm coming to talk to you as an almost retiree. Today was my last Monday working at LCC. After 31 years, I decided it's time to try some kind of new adventure. But you know me, I couldn't leave without having a few things to say. I'm so glad that I've spent the majority of my professional career in higher education at LCC. I've gotten so many opportunities to grow. I will always remember my first day on the job when John Cansfield, who was the director of counseling at the time, gave me the catalog and said, your office is over in Gannon, so you start seeing students next week. Just love the way LCC onboards folks. I sure hope over time that we've gotten better at that. At least I hope we're getting better than that. At least I hope that someone will tell someone where the restroom is at now. Forgot that day. People always ask why I came to LCC rather than stay at Michigan State where I had been for 10 years. I just wanted to be a better part of our community. I didn't know, LCC really allowed me to do that. I didn't know how many students I will have advised over the years at Meyer, the ice rink, or even my children's school. As we were able to grow advising with the original help from the Title III grant, I was able to meet so many people on campus that it helped me realize I had made a mistake in coming here. I saw a vision for our advising program. In the beginning, not many people on campus thought about advising because that was something you did at a 4-year school. I felt I was able to get it started and do training in a way that people would understand what academic advising really was. That faculty who were chosen as the original advisors didn't just learn what classes to give in what order, but they learned what questions to ask to really find out what students wanted to get out of their time here at LCC. They learned what developmental advising was all about. At that time, I'd always hoped that those trained generalists would then be able to go back to their departments and do advising there for students. First being trained to be a good advisor, and then being trained to work in their departments. Interesting concept. I hope that future advisor training can remember that. I also hope that we don't forget how important our generalists are on campus. I've seen us go from a great department with a big area to where people can check in to a little kiosk staying there that only works half the time. I'd love to have an advising front desk one more time. I appreciate all the opportunities I've had to go to Nakata Advising Institute, Administrators Institute early in my career here, because those programs helped me become a better leader among my colleagues. It also gave me a chance to see how we could grow and continue to do more for our students here at LCC. I appreciate the opportunities the college gave me to be a part of the union. I was the president for nearly 10 years, 3 contracts. I hope that the relationship I worked so hard to build with HR, can I go? I'm almost done. Can I continue? 30 more seconds, okay. I'll talk after. I hope that the relationship I worked hard to build with HR will continue on with our new Mahi executive team. Everyone is new in HR now and time has changed, but I hope that the cooperative relationship that was built can withstand any change with the people. That will keep the work of our employees, that we'll remember to keep the work of our employees at the forefront and how we do business at LCC. And I hope we'll all remember that working to be the best employer in the area, it's hard work, but it's work that needs to continue to happen. Campus history. I need to remember that saying back in the day is showing my age, but then being in the position for 31 years really does show your age after time. I just want to thank the Board of Trustees. I want to thank Dr. Robinson, Dr. Welsh, Dr. Samuels, and everybody else I've worked here with for all these years. Just thank you for all you've given me and allowed me to grow, because it's been a great 31 years. Thank you.
Are there any more public comment?
No, sir.
We're going to move on to monthly monitoring reports. Proctor. Annual comprehensive financial report.
I don't see our CFO, so he must have ducked
Good,
out.
Vice Chair. I was gonna, with the Vice Chair and the Chair's permission, let you know that Don Wilsky is with us virtually. He is online, and Michelle Fowler from Raymond is here, but the CFO is with us virtually, Trustee Proctor.
Thank you, Mr. President. The audit committee received the audit report from Raymond Robson at its last meeting. The person speaking somehow forgot about that item on the calendar and missed most of the meeting, but did tune in subsequently. I think you're going to be pleased with what you're about to hear from Ms. Fowler, our principal, and it shows once again that LCC is very dedicated and diligent in maintaining the stewardship of the funds given to the college by students by way of tuition, by taxpayer dollars, by way of property taxes, and by the legislature with its funding proposals. Thank you, Ms. Fowler.
Okay, thank you, Trustee Proctor, and good evening. Again, I'm Michelle Fowler, and I serve as the audit principal for LCC. I did do a detailed presentation with the audit committee earlier this month, as Trustee Proctor had indicated, and went through the annual comprehensive financial report in detail. So that is what each of you have in your packet. So this basically has the financial statements for the college for fiscal 2025. I am happy to report that LCC did receive an unmodified opinion, or basically a clean opinion, on its audit for fiscal 2025. That's the best type of opinion that the college can receive. Also, some other things for the results of the audit. We are required to communicate if there are any internal control findings that we would have as a result of our audit, and there were none that we would have noted. So we don't have any of those types of comments to present to the board this evening. We're also required to communicate to you if there were any errors that would have been detected as a result of our audit procedures, and we did not find any. So there weren't any adjustments that needed to be made as a result of us performing the audit. So that's good to know as a board, that you can rely on that information that you're getting throughout the year, since we just come in once a year to do the audit. So that's a good thing to know, that you can rely on that financial information as you're making those decisions for LCC. So that concludes my formal presentation, other than just want to thank all that helped as part of the audit for the year. A lot goes into this. You can't imagine just to produce this one report. And so everyone that we worked with here at LCC, they were cooperative, they were transparent, they were responsive, and we really do appreciate that to make it as easy as possible when we come in to do our work. So just wanted to thank the team for that, and then I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
No one from the audit committee?
Thank you. No, I will say, thank you so much. You did give us a very thorough report. I'm want to commend our finance team on their continued great work and making sure that we have a wonderful set of financials. There are a lot of different things, of course, that are impacting. I know we had to restate them because there's some holdups of some guidance that's coming down from the federal government. But you all still have done a wonderful job and have been very transparent. So appreciate all your hard work.
Thank you. Happy to do it.
So I think that we need to give Don and Trustee Proctor and everyone who worked on this a big hand, because she said unmodified, clean opinion. And that is something to be proud of. So thank you so much.
Madam Chair, Robert Proctor didn't do anything but
Oh.
convene a meeting. Ms. Fowler, during the audit committee, you mentioned that there's an aspect of what we generally audit that may not be in place to report on yet. Can you give us an update on that?
Yes, I would be happy to. So you know that the college receives many dollars from the federal government in order to provide financial aid to the students and also other programs for the operations of the institution. So because of the level of the federal dollars that are expended each year, we need to come in and do a separate audit of those dollars. So there are certain programs that we have to look at where we would look at those in detail. So we would have done that this year. It actually was the student financial aid cluster that we looked at in detail. Yet the Office of Management and Budget, they have to provide a compliance supplement each year. That compliance supplement is what the audit firms need to follow so that we're doing that federal audit in accordance with uniform guidance. The Office of Management and Budget has not released that supplement for 2025. We're not sure when it's going to be coming out. So we cannot release the final single audit for the college until that supplement comes out and we know there aren't any additional procedures that we would need to perform for the federal awards audit. And also it could happen depending on what is in that supplement. There may even be another major program that we would have to come in and detail test for fiscal 2025. So right now, we've just taken everything as far as we can with looking at student financial aid, and now we're just waiting for the federal government. And I'd be happy to answer any questions on that.
Thank you, Ms. Fowler.
Trustee Thomas?
Thank you. And could you remind me if there will be any drastic effects of whatever they come up with or whatever they come out with the new information?
We don't think so. So they did provide a final draft that would have been towards the end of August. And we're very hopeful that there aren't going to be any changes once that final comes out. So we just don't know. We're assuming no.
It's a
just
lot
have to
of
wait- We just have to wait to be sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Fowler. We're on our way to another award, I assume.
I hope so.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Here, Matthews, if I could I ask if Don Wilski has anything to add? I appreciate all the work that the chair recognized you and your team for the work that goes into the audit. Any final comments before the board moves on from the audit report? Don?
Thank you, Dr. Robinson. As always, we're very happy to have the results of the audit as Michelle has described. Former trustee Meyer used to call this the triple crown, a clean opinion, no findings, and no adjustments. And Michelle and her staff are great to work with. I would like to acknowledge our controller, Megan Garrett, for the hard work that she and her staff put into this over 100-page document that you received this evening. And I am greatly, excuse me, very grateful for the hard work that they do. Thank you.
Dr. Parker.
Madam Chair, I move that the Board of Trustees receive and accept the audit report.
Just a second. Okay. So it's been moved by trustee Proctor and second by Garcia, trustee Garcia, that the board would approve the annual comprehensive financial report as it has been presented. Any discussions? Hearing none. Ms. Duncan, call the roll.
Ms. Shonda Thomas.
Aye.
Angela Matthews.
Yes.
Robert Proctor.
Aye.
Chatham Taylor.
Aye.
Hope Lavelle.
Aye.
Noel Garcia.
Yes.
Terrence Frazier.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Now we move on to the president's report. Dr. Robinson.
Thank you, Chair Matthews. Good evening, trustees. Good evening, everyone. Long time no see, trustees. Just so you know, I will be studiously avoiding news about our trip to New Orleans because I don't want to steal any trustees' thunder. I know you have a lot to say about that. We have some exciting recognition to talk about. I can just leave it here. LCC was there in full force. All trustees attended the ACCT annual congress, and we have a lot to be proud of in that national gathering. Very quickly, trustees, because the centerpiece of my president's report today will be an update on our HBCU transfer activity. I always like to highlight the written report, though, because I know dozens and dozens of colleagues across the college put great information. I'm going to tell you about two things that are in here. On page 5, there is a great write-up about our Constitution Day event, which was very memorable. The attorney Albert M. Rosenblatt presented on a book that he wrote about a very important case called the Lemon case, and it was outstanding. And then also on page 19, some news about our LCC Connect podcast platform. One of our podcasts celebrated a milestone of having 100 episodes. The Time Signatures, which is a local blues podcast. And you might recall, trustees who were here when I was hired, we were involved in what we would do with the radio station. We moved to this very innovative model of partnering with Michigan Public. And we invited members of the community to come and do programming. And Time Signatures is one of those local shows. The host of that show is not an LCC employee, but it's very, very popular. So with that, trustees, I want to tell you a couple things. On next meeting, we will have a visit from a very important entity. I was going to say person, but it's not an entity. From West Campus. Dean Dwyer and her colleagues will be bringing Snoop Dogg to the meeting next. And actually, I had planned on having my colleagues bring Snoop Dogg here tonight, but we've got a packed agenda. So I asked them to come next month. There's a picture of Snoop Dogg. I've seen him doing his thing. You're going to be very interested in that. But what I would like to do before we introduce new employees is bring my colleagues, Provost Dr. Sally Welch and Lane Ingram, to the podium to give you an update on what was one of my top 3 goals last year and has been a sustained priority of the institution, and that is publicizing and facilitating transfer to historically Black colleges and universities. So with that, Chair Matthews, I'd like to turn it over to my colleagues, and I think Lane is starting. So Lane?
Lane is starting. Good evening, trustees. Really excited to share an update with you on our HBCU outreach and awareness activities. Like Dr. Robinson said, goal 3 of his 2024 goals was to elevate the transformation strategy, and the highlighted area you can see is with vigorous and visible promotion of HBCU partnership and transfer opportunities. And so our work over the past year has been comprehensive and strategic, and highly visible in the community. The cornerstone of our initiative was the I Started at LCC campaign, and it was a multi-platform marketing effort that promoted the college broadly while specifically highlighting HBCU transfer pathways. We used web, print, billboard, and radio advertising to reach the community. And as you can see from these images, they feature real LCC students in HBCU apparel. We were trying to make the connection between LCC and these institutions real and aspirational. And so we also created targeted digital content and print materials that directed students to lcc.edu/HBCU. These visuals also represent kind of the reach and impact of the campaign. Our billboard presence was prominent across the Lansing area. Our print materials were distributed widely across campus and the community. And the QR codes on all of our materials got students very quickly to information and resources that they would need to transfer to an HBCU. We also revamped the HBCU webpage, and it's a hub for all HBCU-related information and resources for students. So the page includes information about why students might consider transferring to an HBCU, details about the unique educational experience that these institutions provide, and practical guidance on how they can start that transfer journey. It also has a really cool graphic on it that kind of shows where across the country all of our students have gone. The campaign kind of culminated in the HBCU experience, which happened this past February. It was a signature event that brought HBCU opportunity to life for our students. We assembled a distinguished panel of HBCU alumni. They shared their experiences, they answered student questions. The event included food, giveaways, and resources for students who are interested in attending an HBCU. The chair also gave an amazing welcome, and several other trustees came too. I think Trustee Taylor and Trustee Frazier, for sure. Actually, Trustee Frazier, you're gonna be in the clip. We had over 60 students register for this event. And I think the panelists, which included Benita, they really resonated with the students by being authentic and really sharing what it was like to be at an HBCU. The impact of that work resulted in some news coverage, so I would like to show you that real quick.
It's an start at Lansing Community College and a celebration of Black History Month this afternoon. Lansing Community College held its Historically Black Colleges and Universities experience at its downtown campus. It's part of the college's Black History Month celebration. The event focusing on talking about legacy as well as the benefits of attending a historically Black college.
When you go to any college, you need to know what that college is about, what it provides for you, what it takes to get into the college, and then what the environment and the culture is like. The more they hear about what the opportunities are for them and how LCC can help, the better it is for them.
Through marketing, through a really great event, I think we raised awareness. I think we have created resources that are going to continue to help our students. And I definitely want to acknowledge the collaboration with our marketing coordinator and web team. They really brought this stuff to life. And then our transfer center team, they've been instrumental in connecting students and providing ongoing support. So we're proud of this work and the momentum that we have. And so I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Welch, who's going to share data about our transfer patterns and partnerships that we're developing.
Good evening, Board of Trustees and audience members. Thank you for being here tonight. As you can see on the previous slides, we're working very hard to help students understand about their transfer choices. The next part of the presentation will cover the internal work we're doing to connect students to HBCUs and the progress that we've been making. Thank you, Patrick. So the first thing that I'm very excited about is we launched in August our new admissions application. It's through our CRM. And this application allows students to tell us that they want to transfer to another institution, but not only that, where they want to transfer. So we already have HBCUs as part of the application process. As soon as they say that they want to come here and they want to transfer to an HBCU, they will get connected to our transfer center, who will do a reach out to them and help them connect with the process. And hold that thought for a little bit. We also have been working with the United Missionary Baptist Church on their annual event. We've been there the last few years. This year, they moved it ahead of time. So it was in the summer and we weren't able to attend, but it's been a great place for our staff to go. They've been part of the presentations. We've also worked on a lot of outreach to HBCUs. So we've connected with Clark Atlanta, Johnson C. Smith, Morgan State, Spelman, and Bennett. We've had conversations with them, emails with them. We've shared draft agreements with them, and then we haven't heard anything back from them. So we will continue that process and continue working on the agreements. Our latest school that we're looking at is Central State University. Dr. Robinson connected us to that school. Washington has a partnership with them. It's a little bit of rinse and repeat here. We've connected with them. We've talked about a partnership, and then we are not hearing back from them. So we will continue our conversations with them and hopefully have something in the future to share. I do want to tell you, for the last 2.5 years, we've been able to track 14 students interested in attending an HBCU. And I've listed the schools that they're interested in: Tennessee State, Morgan State, Clark Atlanta, Howard University, Morehouse, and Spelman. Now, with this information and with what Lane showed you on the other slide, we're able to track traffic to our website. So those are impressions or clicks to our website, the HBCU website. You'll notice that we had a big spike in February. That's when we had the culminating event last year. And we average around 50 clicks a month. So it's pretty consistent on that site. And then using the National Clearinghouse data system, we can also follow what happens to our students after they leave LCC. So from 2014 to 2025, we've had 112 students transferred to an HBCU. From 2014 to 2019, 49 students have gone to an HBCU. But you'll notice that for the last 5 years, 63 students have transferred. So we've seen an increase of 28% in the last 5 years. And then of those students that have transferred to an HBCU, 42 have transferred or graduated from the HBCU. And then really interesting fact is they actually have transferred to 45 different HBCUs. And so we want to say thank you very much for having the opportunity to share our progress and where we're at right now. And I'll hand it back to you, Dr. Robinson.
And Chair Matthews, I know that we'd be able to answer questions if trustees have questions.
Thank you so much, Dr. Welch, for this report. So I do have just a few questions, because you said you had reached out to some schools and you hadn't heard back. Could you kind of speak into that a bit in terms of why you think that, what that process looks like and maybe why?
We've had actual virtual meetings with a number of schools, and they're very excited, we're very excited, and then we send something to them and we don't receive anything back, we contact them again. If they're a small school, they only have one person that's doing it, and they've had leadership changes. Particularly that was at John C. Smith School. And so then you have to reconnect with somebody else and start the process over. They also may not see value in a Michigan community college wanting to reach out to a school down south. We have to figure out how do we sell our value to them. And then politically, the climate has been a little challenging for HBCUs for the last couple of years. And I think they have other things besides worrying about a Michigan school trying to send students down there when they can get their students from their own home state.
What is our value prop to them?
It's we can give the students a good education, low cost, so that when they get to the four-year institution, they're ready for that four-year institution, and then they have funding available to pay for that school.
Okay, and so our program doesn't cost them anything?
It's
Or does
costs
it?
here, if they're Michigan, community college guarantee, it's free. If they're Reconnect, it's majority free. And then if they're part-time students, there are a lot of scholarships that make it a low cost for our students to finish their degree here, then go to the 4-year.
Got it. Okay, thank you. And then my other question is just around the numbers. So since we've kind of really been promoting this program, could you speak into what our numbers have looked like, say, recently within the last 2 or 3 years or so in terms of how many of our students are transferring? I know we saw it over like a 5-year window, but if we can make that window a little smaller.
One moment. It's tiny print. So in 2023, we had 14 students transfer, 2024, 10 students, and 2025, 4 students.
2023 was 14
Correct,
and 2024 was 10.
correct.
And then in 2025 it was 3? 4. Oh, no, we're going the wrong direction.
It's early.
Is what?
It's early. They could still transfer in December too.
They can still transfer. Okay, awesome. And then do you have any outcomes for those? Like I saw this was from 2014. Do we have any kind of like, there's a lot of conversations on trying to track our students even after they leave here and how they're doing.
I would have to correlate the data. I don't think we would have it yet. We might have a couple that would have graduated this year. This is based on if they left in 2023, they should graduate in 2025, but it may be 2026.
Thank you. That would be very helpful information. And I think this is a very valuable program that we're offering, and to have the data would be great if we could speak into it. Thank you. Trustee Proctor?
I have a lot to say, so let me see if I can segment this. First of all, those numbers, I don't think they're reflective of what's actually occurring because we've had declining enrollment. So to what extent the declining enrollment impacts what those transfer numbers might be, I think we ought to look at. Let me start with this. This is the latest iteration of an outreach to HBCUs by Lansing Community College to get our students connected. Many years ago, there were billboards that went up, start here, get there. It was started at Lansing Community College, get to someplace else. HBCUs weren't part of that. At some point, a billboard went up, start here, get to, and it identified 6 of the HBCU colleges. That made an impact on the community. Secondarily, years ago, we had a fundraising event called the Lip Sync, in which people come together, volunteers, to be laughed at in some occasions, to demonstrate their skills on others. And the money was put into a program to facilitate transfers to students going to HBCUs. I think it's worth thinking about again. I had this thought at one time. Our president can be referred to as the new boss in town. I saw this cover of a school magazine, one with which I'm familiar. They have a new president. He plays a guitar. So the cover was new boss in town. You know what new boss is. So maybe Dr. Knight could start this. I mean, Dr. Robinson can start this adventure again, putting on a musical concert for us, and we can raise some more money. But I think it's a good effort. I don't know to what extent the Lansing School District's discontinuance of the Black College Tour has had an impact on what we've been able to do in getting students from LCC to consider transferring to HBCUs. I get no response, so it must not be something that's looked at.
It would have an impact. If the students aren't hearing about it in high school, then it makes it a little bit harder when they get here to know what's going on.
Okay. Thank you.
Trustee Taylor.
Presentation. I'm glad to hear that our students are being asked if they want to transfer to an HBCU. I think that's important because what if they just don't know? You know, they don't have the clue that it's even offered as a transfer. So I just wanted to make sure I said that. And also the fact that they can select their college of choice. And then to hear that 63 students transferred to HBCUs, to me, this is almost pandemic time, 2020 to 2025. That's pretty amazing. I did want to ask though, what role can current HBCU students or alumni, I guess, play in mentoring our students interested in transferring? Like, is there kind of a connection between the HBCUs and our students as far as mentorship to get them more engaged with this process?
I think I would like to connect with Tanya McLean on that and just see if this is something that we could talk about in the Office of Empowerment. The most successful event we've had for HBCUs was the panel last February. I think with 60 students coming, that is a really good turnout. And I would recommend repeating that event for sure.
I would like to echo Trustee Proctor and add to, you know, the historical content of this is that what Lane, Dr. Robinson, and Dr. Welch has been able to do is this is not driven by one trustee. And in past times, if a trustee, you know, it was trustee driven. And once the trustee segue off of the board, then the conversation seemed to just kind of fizzle. So what they have done is this is living and breathing on its own. And it is not subject to any trustee driving it, so to speak, that it is, you know, on its own automation with how it's reaching out and what it's doing. And as I always say, and we have learned, is that we are the walking and talking billboards of this college, and it's all hands on deck. So however, with any program that LCC is having, if we can just lend our social media power or even our connections to the community to talk about that, that adds to it as well. One person tells one, so on and so on and so on. And so it's a, you know, collaboration, you know, amongst everyone, but you have done a great and phenomenal work with this just being its own, you know, promotion and or marketing. So you deserve a good hand for that.
I want to thank you and the trustees for that recognition. To follow up on what you said just now, Chair Matthews, that was one of the reasons it was a presidential goal last year, was to institutionalize the importance of HBCU transfer. And I have a quick anecdote about our webpage. I think I shared with you last month that I'm teaching this semester. I teach English 121. And in any writing class, we're exploring how artificial intelligence impacts writing. And one of my students reported to me in a personal essay that ChatGPT gave her a bunch of information about HBCU transfer, and most of it turned out to be incorrect. And we talked about that, but then I was able to send her the link, lcc.edu/HBCU, which she found to be a very authoritative guide for her as a potential transfer student. And then the last thing, Dr. Welch did a great job of answering Trustee Lavelle's question about not hearing back from the partner institutions. And I just wanted to add one thing about that. In addition to the other challenges that these institutions face right now politically, we do have to remember that because of where we are in the country, most of these institutions are very geographically distant from us. And so we have sometimes a challenge getting on the radar of our proximate transfer partners. And so if we are 6, 8 states away, sometimes we're not a top priority. But I ask the same question, Trustee Lavelle, and what Dr. Welch and her team tell me is that, they're very responsive when we do come. It's not like they're ignoring us, but in terms of their enrollment pipeline, we're probably always going to be a pretty small pathway. And that's probably the best explanation for the lack of follow-up. I don't think it's anything other than that, but we'll continue working on it. And thank you. Are there any more questions about this one, Chair Matthews, about the HBCU? Okay, it sounds like, yes.
I appreciate seeing that Central State's on there. As being in Ohio, it's very close. And also just across the street from Central State is Wilberforce University, which is a private HBCU. So you have a public one and a private one. And as I've talked to people locally that don't want to leave the area, there's one that's still in the Midwest. So that might be I think that could be a strong connection for us. And I know there's a few alums of Lansing Public Schools that have attended Central State and have done some work with them. So I'm happy we're looking into those Ohio schools.
Thank you, Chair Matthews and trustees. And thank you to my colleagues for that presentation. That leads us to the end of the president's report, which always happily concludes with a star is hired. There are a list of new employees who are hired since the last board meeting. Is anybody here who is a new employee on this list? Yes, could you introduce yourself, please? Come on up so we can hear you all.
Hello, everyone. My name is Al Hassan Sako, and I'm a new C3R coordinator.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. And thank you for coming tonight. That's the president's report, Chair Matthews. Alsan, I have a message for you. You are welcome to stay for the entire board meeting, but you do not have to. If you have other things to do, you may leave, but you're welcome to stay. But there would be no shame in you taking this opportunity to exit if you wanted to. Thank you, Chair Matthews. And thank you for coming tonight. Yes, yeah, that's right. I'm glad the chair remembered.
On your way out.
Thank you, Dr. Robinson. Appreciate that. Moving on to consent agenda action items. Are there any items, colleagues, at this particular moment that you would like to remove from the consent agenda for further discussion? Trustee Lavelle?
Yes, item C, capital project request, both 1 and 2.
Any others, trustees? Hearing none. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda items A, B, 1 and 2, and D, sole source number 1?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Thank you, trustee Proctor. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, trustee Taylor. It has been moved by trustee Proctor and second by trustee Taylor to approve consent agenda items A, B, 1 and 2, item D, 1. Any discussions? Hearing none. Ms. Duncan, will you call the roll?
Hope Lavelle.
Aye.
Terrence Frazier. Angela Matthews.
Yes.
LaShonda Thomas. Noel Garcia. Chatham Taylor.
Aye.
Robert Proctor.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve consent agenda item C, capital project request number 1 and 2? Thank you,
Second.
trustee Thomas. Thank you, trustee Proctor, second. It has been moved by trustee Thomas and second by trustee Proctor to approve consent agenda item C, capital project request, both 1 and 2. Discussion. Trustee LaBelle?
Thank you. So for item 1, the capital project request, Arts and Sciences Building. My only really comment is, I guess I would like clarification. Is it a capital development fund or a campus development fund? I noticed that the language changed. So is that just a clarification and we need to just,
Chair Matthews,
on page 24?
Chair Matthews, if I could refer to Dr. Samuel. Dr. Samuel and Dr. McCursey are both prepared with a lot of information about both these requests, but this one might just be a nomenclature thing. Dr. Samuel?
Yeah, actually, there's two different funds. So we have a capital equipment fund and we have a capital development fund. So this is just letting you know that we believe we'll take these funds if this project is approved from those two places. And so that's all that is there.
Correct. And then under recommendation, it says then that the, under subsection 3, 1.1 million is coming from the campus development fund. So that's where I was kind of asking.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yep, campus development fund. Sorry about that. Yep,
So we just want to update it then under financial
yes.
to just make sure for clarification.
We'll make a note.
Thank you.
Yep. It's okay.
Thank you, trustee LaBelle.
So then, for the next one, the capital project request for the Health and Human Services. I know this was kind of previously discussed before I, joined the board, but I was wondering if someone can kind of talk about the project a little bit more and just kind of provide an update with how the, simulation project is going.
Chair Matthews, if I could. Thank you, trustee LaBelle, for that question. When the chair and I talked about both of these projects, I asked, and this would be an opportunity for Dr. Samuel or Dr. McCursey to get ready to talk a little bit. I asked them to come with some details and maybe even some visuals about these projects because I know there was some interest in that. So if I could ask Dr. Samuel to introduce Dr. McCursey, who's come with some renderings and even more information than you see written in the report. And I think you're going to like these. Dr. Samuel?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Robinson. We're very excited to share information with you on the capital projects that we have coming up. And so I'll turn it over to our Executive Director of Administrative Services, Dr. Chris McCursey. And he and his team are over all of our facilities. And so that's why he'll be presenting to you today.
Good evening, trustees. So this project was originally slated for the 505 building, for which we have already set aside money through working with design firm JMZ Architects through the campus master planning process. They encouraged us to take a deeper look at the HHS building and whether or not we could make the additional changes necessary to fit that in the undeveloped space on level 3. So fortunately, the deans and associate deans at HHS got together, worked with the design team and determined that in fact we could get that into the HHS building, which provides us many economies of scale and allows us to do the entire project without having to go to the state for 50% matching funds. So that helps us to get to this place. I have a few renderings that I think that you might enjoy. So this is the space that it's going to go into now. It's undeveloped, but when it's done, it might look something like this for the waiting rooms. And a patient room, waiting room, and a surgical simulation room.
And so this is actually, and I won't get into the programming, but it is designed to be a multidisciplinary space to serve a number of the programs in the Health and Human Services division. And so we think this is a great use of the space, good use, economies of scale with dollars. And so we are seeking your support for this project.
And what is the target completion date? I mean, once we approve, but based on where you are, if you can just, where you are estimating in terms of the remaining process you need to go through too.
It'll take approximately a year.
Okay, so next October, essentially-ish?
That all depends on when we get the bid out and returned and success, so
Okay.
notionally. It's a word I used on Dr. Robinson earlier today.
And so then hopefully by the top of, what is that, January of 2027,
Hypothetical. Yeah.
it could be available to serve students, correct?
As soon as it's approved, we're going to get cranking on it.
Awesome, wonderful. Well, very nice. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Chairman, if I could supplement, that's an excellent answer. One of the reasons Chris and his team then go to bid, find, contractors to do this. So one of the reasons he's a little guarded about the timetable is some of those things get a little outside of our control. We've done a good job of keeping most projects on task, but some of them, have taken a little longer because of things that are happening out in the marketplace. The only other thing I'd add that will be an issue with this, as Tim Martz and Chris and the teams work on this, is this does involve, if you could go back to the map slide, Chris. And Trustee Lavelle mentioned some interest in getting into the space and doing a tour. All trustees are welcome to do that. This will involve moving some classroom space. So even though that storage area is open, one of the reasons of coming back into this direction is that we will have to move some things around as well. But the goal will be to get students and faculty in there as soon as we can, because increasingly these programs are allowing for stimulation to count for some clinical time. So we want to get it as quickly as we can. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions or discussion, trustees?
Hearing none, Ms. Duncan, call the roll.
Angela Matthews.
Yes.
LaShonda Thomas, Hope Lavelle.
Aye.
Chatham Taylor,
Aye.
Terrence Brazier,
Aye.
Robert Proctor.
Aye.
Paul Garcia.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Moving on to monthly monitoring report, Dr. Robinson.
Thank you, Chairman Matthews. In your packet, trustees, are the monthly financial statements. CFO Wilski is joining us remotely and still following along. Folks have questions about the monthly financials. Thank you. Moving on to the monthly public safety report. My ongoing pride in this report is that we not only conduct public safety and policing at LCC with excellence, but with transparency. So all of the transactions that our men and women in uniform have with contact with the public are a matter of public record and here in the packet. And the chief is here if there are questions. Great. And the last trustees is biannually, or actually twice a year. It's different. We do bring you a report on a diversity of employees at the request of the board. Those data are also in your packet.
Trustee Proctor.
President, with regard to that data, I didn't see in it a reflection of the composition of the workforce or the population within the Lansing Community College District. So comparing those numbers versus the overall demographic composition in the community makes it a little dicey.
I'll make a note of that, Trustee Proctor, and we'll look at that as we bring the report back to the board in the next 6 months.
Further questions?
Very good. That concludes the monthly monitoring reports, Chair Matthews.
Dr. Robinson. Moving on to linkage, planning, and implementation, the chair's report. On October the 9th, I was able to attend the LCC ACE Women's Network Fall event. I want to say to Dr. Samuel and her team, it was a great event. It was well attended, and it's always well attended by the women of LCC from all across our community family. So I termed it as always care for each other, ACE, just to give a remembrance as to we're all in this together, and that it's going to take all of us to continue to move LCC forward. We can't do it without you, and we can't do it without each other. And so ACE is always caring for each other. But of course, it's whatever you want it to be with your own event. However, just put that spin on there. And thank you so much for inviting me to present the welcome. I truly appreciate that. Moving on to the other part of the chair's report. LCC is well respected at the national level at ACCT. And ACCT is always looking for trustees to get involved on the national level with regards to committees. And so they send out in the trustee quarterly, they send out basically a call to say, hey, would you take a look and see which of these committees that you would desire to work with, because we do need trustees on board. And so the more the merrier, so to speak. Should there be the support from the board, Trustee Lavelle, myself, and Thomas, we do have our letters and the information that we need to send to ACCT. And what that does is that it allows us to, from a financial standpoint, the college would support that. If there is meetings that we need to attend on the national level, then the college is saying yes, that we would support your participation on the national level, which truly it brings more focus and notice to Lansing Community College. We were there in great numbers. Like I said, we are well respected, and we would just like to continue that legacy with Lansing Community College. So all of us submitted the choices. There were 3 choices, 1, 2, and 3. However, the placement rests with the president and CEO of ACCT, which is Jihan Lee. So with that, are there any questions from the other trustees? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the letter of support for Trustee Lavelle, Trustee Matthews, as well as Thomas to serve on the ACCT committees?
Matthews, I so move.
Second.
It has been moved by Trustee Taylor and second by Trustee Proctor that our letters of support for these 3 trustees would be approved by the board. Any discussions about that? Hearing none, Duncan, call the roll.
Adam Taylor,
Aye.
Rashonda Thomas, Angela Matthews.
Yes.
Robert Proctor.
Aye.
Hope Lavelle.
Aye.
Terrence Frazier. Joel Garcia.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Moving on to a recap of ACCT Leadership Congress. There is so much to say with regards to the Congress leadership that was held in New Orleans. We were there to participate and attend many sessions. And actually what I'll do before I move on with a part of this is I will allow my colleagues to share in this moment if you'd like to share something. Trustee Lavelle.
So, first, just truly appreciate the opportunity to participate in the Congress. So the theme was focus on reimagining community colleges. And I think as all of us can see, there's a lot changing and shifting in the education environment politically. It's a change as it relates to our language and how we discuss things around DEI. And so there was a really great session that was called the Great Pivot. And
it talked about how even though the names of things have changed, it's recognizing, however, that the work has not. And so we just have to remain committed and not get discouraged, that when we start to see where there's, there's talk of defunding and removing diversity, equity, and inclusion, that we can continue this work even without the title. The other thing that they really talked about was embracing AI. And what they shared with us was really insightful, because they were saying, really, as faculty and staff, everyone is all over the board on how they allow and how permissive they are of AI in the classroom. And so I really appreciated the conversations around leveraging and using AI as a tool and collectively thinking about what our usage policies were going to be, because we are responsible for preparing the workforce of the future. So there were just a lot of great things and ways that we can uplift our students and prepare them for all the new changes that are coming.
Ayla?
I think Trustee Lavelle summed it up very well. I enjoyed every minute of the conference. There were so many different sessions that each of us have our own passions for. And one that stuck with me was two, financial wellness. So that's one of the key focus areas for me, and the way they talked about our underrepresented students and community, and how they even went as far as having a food pantry that it's almost like a grocery store. It was really amazing. And so sitting there and listening to that portion in that session was, it sat with me, because, I have a background in finance, but then also just knowing what people go through. It was something that I think we should probably tap into. But then also there was a session on clean energy. And I know that I read through our capital outlay project for the energy center. And one thing they said in this session was they talked about the underserved again, but they were talking about the incarcerated people who, when they get out of prison, they allow them to enter this program, and then they're able to learn about clean energy. They actually pay them a stipend to do it. It was really something that sat well with me. So I wanted to make sure I said that, but overall the conference was very informative for me.
First, I would like to thank, it was an interesting conference, a lot of good workshops. But one of the things, the biggest thing I took away from the workshop that I attended was LCC is doing the same thing, at a start level. A lot of the stuff that they're showing on a national level at these conferences that we're talking about, LCC has been doing and continuing to do. So I want to give thank you to all the faculty, staff, and administrators out there at the university, because you're doing an excellent job. That's why we are who we are at the LCC. And President Robinson and your team, once again, with my background in higher education and keeping an eye on that world, I'm always impressed with what LCC is doing. So continue to do the great work. It is being representative out there as I listen to people. So hopefully we'll be able to get some national conferences on that you are doing in your individual area to be a shining star for the world. So thank you to you all community for doing this good work.
Yeah, I'll just echo a lot of things that have been said already, but I left with a feeling of pride to have being representing Lansing Community College. We truly are not only recognized in a state level, but nationally as well as leaders, as great partners. The legacy of excellence is obvious, and so. Yeah, I attend a lot of the same sessions, got a lot of great things, got a lot of great information to bring back here, but that part of the professionalism that many of our colleagues around the state and nation look upon us as remarkable.
and should be congratulated for the staff. And then also the reminder on the national level of the reason why we are trustees, and that's we're here for the students. That was a constant reminder almost every day, almost every session, how they reminded us of that. So thank you.
Trustee Thomas?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I too am very proud to be a part of this great movement. We are innovative and we're looked up to in a way, and I believe that we represent well when we're out, and then you all help us greatly with your work. So we appreciate what you do. To piggyback off of Trustee Lavelle, there are a lot of changing notions and executive orders and different things that we heard of. We went to the big pivot and it was almost depressing. They tried to do what they could, and it's like, how do you take that back and tell your people, like, and I know we're all looking at the same thing, but I'm just hopeful. I look forward to going to DC to see what the changes are and what's coming down the pipe. I know July 2026 is a movement there, so we all should be watchful of what's happening. But we took away some great information. It was a lot of information. I believe it was like 140 classes. So we split up, like, okay, you get this one, and trying to get all the information that we could get. It was great. It was informative. Also, I'm proud of Lane and Chair Matthews and Dr. Robinson. I won't go into it, but you guys made us proud. They did a great session on basically the excellence that LCC not only show in the major things, but also in the details. So I love being a part of excellence. I believe that we all represent excellence, and I'm grateful to work with excellence and serve with all of you. Also, I won't recognize the sheriff, but sheriff always makes us look good, so I'm not doing it. She makes us look good. I'm so proud to work with each of these individuals. And when people hear, oh, that you guys are LCC, they get so excited. So that alone says a lot about the work that we all do together. So thank you guys so much for what you do. I appreciate you.
LCC rocks. Seated to my left is our rock star. Heard me say from time to time, the most important person in my view of the world at Lansing Community College is Anita Duncan. By now you're aware that she was recognized as the National Professional Staff winner. So I think we ought to stand and give her applause.
Right. Star standard. I'm trying to do the star standard thing. So thank you, colleagues, for all of your excellent comments and observations, and what you experienced during this particular leadership congress. Where's Lane? Is Lane in here? Oh, okay, there you go. So we did get an opportunity to present the STAR standard. And Lane and Dr. Robinson, I just slipped in and was talking. But Lane did an excellent work with showing our STAR standard. Everything that we do has a standard to it. And to take it from what it was to what it is now, and the expectation of the excellence that Trustee Thomas talked about, if you flip back through this particular, there's Lane. And so talking to people who haven't even thought about this, thought about templates, thought about fonts, you might say, oh, that's minute and that's small, but it's the representation and the presentation. I don't know anyone who would go into a store and it's all messy and the floors are dirty, that you would want to probably, shop in that store. So, we are visual people first. And so everything we do across the board, from internal to external, billboards, marketing, print, has a STAR standard to it. And so definitely, Lane, thank you for heading that up, you and Dr. Robinson, for putting that together. So many of you are wondering what's back there. There are delicious treats. And when we have treats, then we have celebrations. So go back, please. Go back again. Right there. So Trustee Robert Proctor was elected to the ACCT Board of Directors as a Director-at-Large representative. This is a very important role that he will play on the national level, and to be seated at that table so that we know what's going on, so that we won't be on the menu being chopped or what have you. So that is something worthy of mentioning as well as celebrating. So we want to celebrate you for your seat. And you have to go around and you have to campaign, like really, and you have to tell why, that you should be the one to occupy that seat. And there was about 1,900 trustees across the nation that attended that leadership congress. So you had a plethora ranging from all over, degrees and work experiences and so on and so forth. And so congratulations with that. No, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do it. No, don't you do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Let me get through. Let me get through. Because we want to celebrate and do this right and do this justice for you and Ms. Duncan. So then Ms. Duncan was re-elected to the Executive Committee of the Professional Board Staff Network. There you go, as the Central Region Member-at-Large Representative, making it her 8th year of service on that board. And also on top of that, this is where it got all crazy, and we can't take y'all anywhere because y'all be messing up and doing stuff. So on Thursday, Ms. Duncan received the Central Region Professional Board Staff Award on that Friday night. So she won the National Professional Board Staff Member of the Year Award. These awards are, it's not something to blink at, because you're talking about trustees and board staff from across the United States of America. So for us to have two of our own at the top at ACCT, I'm telling you, Lansing Community College is on the map, and we are leading in so many areas that we sometimes are not even aware of. So that's why when we go to these conferences, we are taking care of the business of Lansing Community College. And they're looking to us for, not totally, but they do have conversations. What are we doing? How are we doing it? How is this working? And they want to know so that they can implement some things as well. So thank you to both of you. Congratulations. And thank you to my colleagues for representing Lansing Community College extremely well. And thank you for allowing us to go, because if you didn't do what you do, then we couldn't be no shining stars anywhere within ACCT. So thank you very much.
I was elected because as I approached the podium to make my campaign speech, I fell flat on my face. I'm still suffering from the pain in my knee. I think it was a sympathy vote. So not that you ought to try that, but it worked for me.
Okay. Any other comments? All right, we will. Yes, I think so. Going on to committee reports. Audit Committee, Trustee Proctor.
Madam Chair, you've had the Audit Committee report presented by Michelle Fowler, and we've approved the audit report. So that's it. Want me to go to my next item?
That's it.
Policy Committee has been working hard. We're going to put in a petition to be paid for all the work we do because we've been putting in a lot of time. And when you see all those words we've been crafting, you may say they deserve it, or maybe they ought to be kicked off of their respective positions. Thank you. It's coming up yet.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Council is going to have a lot of work to do editing what we did.
As I've been hearing about those policy committees, 2 and 3 hours, but anywho, moving on to board members report, Foundation Board report, Vice Chair Frazier and Trustee Garcia.
That meeting has been rescheduled for October 30th, so we don't have a report this time.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to Trustee Generated Idea and Initiative, Campus Community and Safety Kiosk Initiative, Trustee Taylor.
Yes, thank you, Chair Matthews. And thank you, board colleagues, for the opportunity to bring forward my community and safety kiosk initiative. These kiosks, I believe, can be a great additional resource to our already great safety implementations already in place. And so these kiosks are a continued additional effort for safety and accessibility, serving as valuable tools for our community members, providing real-time information and facilitating visitor check-ins. I do want to acknowledge the vital role that our LCC Police Department plays in maintaining the safety of our students in our community. I believe it's truly your efforts that we are safe and continue to be safe on campus. So I wanted to make sure I acknowledge that. I had an opportunity to talk to Chief Gaines briefly, and one of the things that we talked about was my experience and my why, so to say. And as some of you know, previously, I was a former manager here at the Case Credit Union located in the heart of LCC, the Gannon Building, second floor, from 9 to 5 every day. So I understand we have faculty and staff that roams around the campus and, you know, they come in the building, go out, grab something to eat, but I was there literally every day with these students. And I had the privilege of witnessing the vibrancy, the vibrant engagement from our community members and our students. And that for me is just, that experience is something that I take with me. And I feel that experience is my why, a little bit of why I'm bringing this kiosk initiative up. Also, I'm always going to have a focus. One of my key areas of focus is community relationships with our students and with our college. Recently, I've received feedback from community members on the desire to have our campus more accessible for our visitors in our community, especially during events and throughout the day. We have beautiful art. We have a beautiful campus. LCC is a staple and asset of the Lansing community in the downtown area. And so that's another why for me. And so I did do a little bit of research just to kind of give, I guess, an idea of how this could look. And so I was thinking, what way can I help with the way that I know the college could, the incredible potential the college could bring back from my experience, but also to, you know, listen to some of those voices. And so the kiosk is what I thought of because it complements what Chief Gaines and the rest of the LCC Police Department already has in place. And so in front of us, we do have, I'll just go over some of the proactive measures for the kiosk. So Accessibility for the community, obviously. So kiosks can serve as welcoming points, allowing access to resources and events. So what I mean by that is these kiosks can have events scrolling through them. They can be a resource that has additional information as far as our safety protocols, our procedures, but most importantly, visitor check-in system. So this is, I actually looked up Rochester Community Schools, and they actually have kiosks. They call it the visitor management system. And so if you have a chance, I encourage you to research Rochester Community Schools. There are a couple of others as well. But the visitor check-in system, it would implement a feature for visitors that allows monitoring of who enters our campus. So this includes possible scanning of IDs, thumbprint check-in. It could be a QR code from your phone if a visitor pre-registers before they even get to LCC. I mean, the sky's the limit with these kiosks, and especially in the times that we're in with AI and all that stuff. And then the check-in feature can also print out a visitor's badge to have our visitor community member wear, and it would have a QR code at the bottom to scan once that visitor leaves. That way we keep track of when they enter the building and when they leave. Access control kiosks can be integrated with door access by having temporary access to specific buildings using possibly an intercom system to act like an access button. So the kiosk could have a screen where there's different departments. They select the department and then they can kind of call whoever they need to call to let them know the purpose that they're coming in the building, and then also get let in that way. So you'll notice that I have a picture of some examples of kiosks. There's so many, so I just selected the ones that I thought would be cute for our college. But also there's one that has an intercom system as well, if you want to look at that. But looking at the cost there, I went through that as well. Just in brief, they're very economical. They're not bad at all as far as cost. I do know that if there is an intercom system integrated, of course, we'd have to look at the software integration, installation, maintenance, that kind of thing. So overall, the idea emphasizes creating a welcoming, continuing to create a welcoming and safe environment through these proactive measures, as mentioned, while still incorporating reactive elements for immediate response. So such as the monitoring and reporting, if an incident ever occurred, then we'd be able to track, who was in our building at said time. So my ask, I would like this idea and written document forwarded to the president and his staff, the LCC staff and supports of my colleagues, to maybe have this come back within 60 days to see if there's any LCC programs or initiatives addressing possibly a similar issue, an expanded list of stakeholders, and even financial implications and possible funding sources, and if this is even feasible for the college. So again, this is community access, visitor management system to make sure that we are putting, number one, continuing to keep our students safe. I'm very sensitive to our student safety, to the recent incidents that I know have occurred throughout our area and other areas, and also to our community and our visitors.
I have 2 questions. Trustee Proctor and then Trustee Garcia.
I move that this be forwarded to the administration for review. I've had some extensive talks with Trustee Taylor about this. I have some concerns about the access part of it. What I understand the safety protocol primarily is about is to prevent the bad actor from getting on campus and in the buildings to start with. So this doesn't prevent that. We don't know what anybody's motive might be, but there might be some workarounds, and I'd like to see it reviewed for that purpose.
There's a second. It has been moved by trustee Proctor and second by Vice Chair Frazier to approve the trustee generated idea campus community and safety kiosk initiative by trustee Taylor, giving the president and his administrative staff the green light to research this particular idea, and then within the allotted time of our bylaws to bring it back within the 60-day time frame. Is there any further discussions?
Madam Chair, I would make one correction. Wasn't to approve. It was to move it forward to the administration for study.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess I appreciate your why, and we've had conversation as well, myself and trustee Taylor. I appreciate her why. She was listening to a constituent that was having troubles getting on campus. I just wonder, do we keep track of any complaints of visitors not being able to access our buildings? Do those complaints, are they being answered? Or are we receiving complaints about that?
Chair Matthews, to that question, pardon, I think that's something we could include in the answer to the analysis that would come back in 60 days. We'd be able to address that, right, Chief?
Trustee Thomas?
I am big on security, so I would like to know more about the security measures that would wrap around this item. I do believe and agree that there should be some sort of intercom, but that's a great question too, if it's even an issue, but I would like to get more information and see how this will look once you guys are on.
Okay, seeing no further discussion, but need to take, Ms. Duncan, take the roll.
Terrence Frazier,
Aye.
Robert Proctor.
Aye.
Angela Matthews.
Yes.
LaShonda Thomas, Chatham Taylor.
Aye.
Hope LaBelle.
Aye.
Noel Garcia.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Moving on to unfinished business. Seeing there is none. Moving on to new business. Seeing that there is none. And then remember in the beginning, the closed session was moved up under new business.
So I move to enter into closed session for the purpose of consulting with an attorney regarding trial or settlement strategy in connection with the pending legislation of Linda Wall versus McKee and MEA and Kiera Smith versus LCC and Albert Newkirk under Section 8E of the Open Meeting Act. I also move to enter into closed session for the purpose of discussion informing design to protect the security or safety of persons or property or the confidential integrity or availability of the college's information system pursuant to Section 8H of the Open Meeting Act to consider material which is exempt from disclosure under Section 13(1)(y) of the Michigan Freedom of Information Act.
There a second?
Second.
Thank you, trustee Lavelle. So it's been moved by Vice Chair Frazier and second by trustee Lavelle that we will move into the board, move into closed sessions for the aforementioned statements that Vice Chair Frazier mentioned. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
There's no opposing. It is 7:41.
We have to do an actual roll.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Session.
I'm sorry. Take the roll, Ms. Duncan.
Noel Garcia,
Yes.
Terry Frazier,
Yeah.
Hope LaBelle,
Yes.
Chatham Taylor.
Yes.
Robert Proctor.
Aye.
Angela Matthews.
Yes.
LaShonda Thomas. Motion carried.
Thank you. As we stated earlier, there's some celebration treats that are back there. Feel free to take water or juice or whatever it is back there. Trustees, if we could meet upstairs for closed session in about 10 minutes, more, make it about 7:55, that would be great. During for closed session.
would you have that, rather than when it takes you specifically to your floor? It pretty much tells you where you're going. But it's not intuitive. No, you can't change your mind. You gotta go to your room. Yeah. When people get off their own floor all the time, it's not apparent. Or just like running to pop into the elevator. But then it doesn't go to your. Right. Yeah, I said, it's like that hard way. When I got there, oh, I know.
All right. I'm here. What's that? So we got quorum. We don't need no more board comments.
I never ordered it. I ordered what you had me ordered.
Yeah, it never came though, huh?
No, you never ordered it.
Oh, is that why?
Yeah.
How do I gotta reorder? Why, you just want the
So
sign?
I make sure I get the right sound.
Okay, oh,
I
I'll get,
ordered what you told me.
I'll get back with you.
Okay, I don't think you want me to. Let me get my.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that.
No.
Yeah, it was fine. Yeah, I could figure the nails out pretty good. You did good. If I had any questions, I'll definitely ask you.
Oh. Thank you, June. June, when it's light outside, when it's more light.
Here they come. It's JR's holding everybody up.
I don't know, I guess.
Keep saying you need more.
Yeah.
All of the trustees are back.
That was bag here, young ladies.
So that's funny.
You.
And I got the little one that, and I got that vest, yeah.
So I gotta order.
You know, so I got really bad. That was a lot. Now, right. I would like to.
Oh. Madam Chair. I'm ready. Yeah.
Oh, he's over there.
Go ahead.
We're coming back into the regular board of trustees meeting, and stuff over the call.
Terry Frazier,
Here.
Noel Garcia.
Here.
Hope Lavelle.
Present.
Angela Matthews. Robert Parker.
Here.
Chad Taylor.
Here.
LaShawn Thomas.
Board comments? Hearing none. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Oh, yes. I just wanted to, thank Eva for the work she's done for 31 years. I'm sure that, many will miss her. We will miss her and all her work. I appreciate what you've done and thank you for your service.
For the board conference? Is there a motion to adjourn?
I so move.
Support.
It's been moved by trustee LaBelle, second by trustee Garcia, that we will adjourn before the regular meeting. All in favor said aye. Aye. Any opposed? Adjourn.